To the Moon is a game series that's been popping off since 2011. Indie dev Kang Gao and his team at Freebird Games has spent the past years orchestrating a collection of stories that delves into numerous thought-provoking themes and memorable characters that all bring home to the romantics out there the singular truth that every other Pixar film likes to remind you of. We are all going to die. The very first thing you do in the first game is run over a squirrel. Dead! 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 Dead. But that's the thing, it's the ultimate fate we all share as living beings. Feeling that the final breath is coming, a look back to the life lived is almost inevitable, followed by a series of universal questions played on the slowing mind. Do I have any regrets? Could I have done anything differently? Why is it called a lift when they also go down? You may have that one wish you never got to fulfill before the lights go out. But what if there was a way for you to live your life out again, so that your wish is granted? That is the concept this series explores. I found the To the Moon games as part of my quest to tick off some of my bucket list. I want to find a piece of media that will make me cry. This isn't something I made up just for the video. Yep, here's the bucket list, and there's the wish to try and find something that will make me cry. Right in between visit the Scottish Highlands and rub Vin Diesel's head. One day. I always get to the proximity of crying, but never actually shred a tear. Previously, I played through Until Then and A Space for the Unbound, which are absolute cinema. They were emotional rides, but they didn't start the waterworks I wanted. That is when I found To the Moon. You begin with the first game with the same name, along with its minisodes, A Bird Story, Finding Paradise, Imposter Factory, and Beach Episode. So we have not just a single game, but an entire series that has the potential to make me cry the way my inner child does looking at my life choices. Working with insecurities is the bread and butter for our reoccurring characters, the mature no-nonsense Eva Rosalind and witty goofball Neil Watts, the proud that guy of The Office. This straight man and clown duo are employed by the Sigmund Corporation, the company that helps you die with a smile. Eva and Neil get called out to dying clients to hook them up with an e-girl streamer setup in order to alter the client's memories so that they believe that they achieved their wishes. It's implied that the tech can cater to many high demands, which makes me think about what my request would be. Are we really moving forward with this? Why does he want this? It just seems niche. Fine, if that's what he's paying us for. Family. Family! As you may expect, editing one's memories is not a simple plug-and-play process. The circumstances of the client's wish has to be believable, which is achieved by planting the motivation to the client's earliest available memories so that the basis of their new life emerges. But Eva and Neil have to go the long way round by entering a virtual world which can get otherworldly to say the least. They start from the latest memory and hopscotch from one core memory to the next, working backwards through the timeline. I never thought a video game version of Eternal Sunshine would hit, yet here we are. I find this to be an extremely creative approach to character building when you consider that Johnny from To the Moon and Colin from Finding Paradise are the central characters that the plot of their respective games revolve around, yet Eva and Neil never actually speak to them in the real world. The essence of these characters are shown to us secondhand as we live out their lives on playback. The player acts like the client's personal ghost of Christmas past as you spectate the meaningful moments, the euphoric highs, the somber lows. Every word, step, and action paints an almost too exposing picture of who this person is. I feel uncomfortable using my name on a Pizza Hut order, and I'm supposed to let these guys have a front row seat to me taking my new PC to the repair shop when all I needed to do was push the on button. True story, I stood there for about half a minute while in silence, and the repair guy just stared at me for the whole thing. So, yeah, that happened. Did I also mention that it was a rig I built myself? Going through the plot of these games is partly unraveling mysteries while new ones take root. In the first game, Johnny's request is to go to the moon. Ah, it's the same name as the game! Big brain move right there. The catch is though, Johnny himself doesn't actually know why he wants this. Playing the Johnny film backwards might lead to the answer you are looking for, but it won't be the only question that eludes you. Why did Johnny build his home next to a lighthouse? Why does he have a locked room full of origami rabbits? What was the cause of his wife's strange behaviours? The other games bring their own mysteries to the table too. Why did Colin seal a book if nothing is written inside? Why does this mansion need 3 chefs if only 4 people live there? What misfortune did this child cause to be named Potato? Yes, dance away the shame, Potato. You don't need me to tell you at this point that this is a very story-focused series. So what about the gameplay? The series was made using RPG Maker, which will likely clue you in on expectations if you're already familiar with the engine. But you shouldn't expect an RPG despite the name. You're even told off for treating this like an RPG. The main bulk of gameplay is walking around the map, interacting with objects and reading text boxes. It's a very reductionist statement to say, but it's similar to how you would approach a visual novel. Keeping this in mind, these games are not suited for people who lean towards fast-paced, high-octane titles and want more game in their game. I, for one, am a nutter for story-focused titles, so the slow burn approach doesn't bother me. The act of jumping from one memory to the next is a mechanic in itself. In a given memory, you find a memento, an object that exists in both the memory you are currently in and the memory you want to jump to. You collect the memory orbs to break through the shield, then you play a quick puzzle game to activate the memento. Quite simple as gameplay goes, but there are many mini-games sprinkled throughout the series, with Beach Episode being the heavy hitter. General things that will get you pressing them buttons include using lifts, eating rice, catching cats, whacking moles, surfing waves, riding ponies, jumping in rain puddles, playing arcade to play arcade, flying paper aeroplanes, testing your might, switching the lights on! May God help you if you want a better window view. Supposedly, you're missing out. What you are not missing out on though is witnessing artists perfecting their craft. This series is a passion project for Can Gao and the Freebird Games team. This was conceived when Can's granddad became seriously ill, leading to Can to ponder on mortality and regret. Every entry builds upon what came before and introduces new elements in one way or another. Just looking at the animation alone, you will find that it becomes more fluid and dynamic as the series plays out. Similar growth can be found in the creative storytelling. For example, A Bird Story contains no traditional dialogue, and Imposter Factory uses a series of photos while you walk over to the next core memory. The aspect that is consistent and hits the ground running is the music. I love me some soundtrack music, and you may have some tracks finding their way to your playlist after playing these games. The slow piano does a fantastic job creating the melancholic feeling I was looking for, especially when you hear those select tracks that use vocals. They play during the moments and give me the feels that make me feel the feelings I felt when the feels started overflowing, resulting in a strong feel that makes me feel like I have that I'm alive again feeling. You feel me? If you feel like this series may be too depressing for you, you may be half right, keeping in mind the subject matters that are brought up. This series did start way back in 2011, but it did manage to dodge the emo craze going on at the time. There is plenty of comic relief to be found to break up the moments that give you the blues, as seen through the running gag that is facepalming. Eva and Neil bicker and joke as you would with your co-workers at the office. This is a contrast to the extraordinary situations they find themselves in, which can be funny to experience. Sometimes the humour gets self-aware and gives you some jokes akin to pointing out the lift is always ready when you press the button, or how Johnny remembers the basketball court being made out of squares. Freebird Games, hitting us with the meta jokes before it was cool. To top it off, there is some reference-based comedy involved too. All these happy beats trick you into lowering your guard so that you forget the sad parts and then you get hit with the next sad time for critical damage. Ugh. Why do I do this to myself? Most people go to a football match to feel alive. This is the media consumption equivalent of your Bumble match ghosting you after being led on for 2 weeks. Which brings us back to why I got into the To the Moon series. I came for the scenes that break you, and these games hit the mark. Your heart will sink, and you'll feel a lump in your throat. It doesn't hit you right off the bat, it's a gradual burn. You start the game as an outsider looking in, but then you get to know the characters more as you see the lives they have lived. What were mundane items and trinkets turn out to be integral companion pieces in one's life that act as iconography to who they are. I'm sorry that I didn't respect you when I should have. I was a fool before. You were the silent guardian, always there to witness my existence. Please forgive me! And then the needle drops. The realization sinks in, and you know what has to happen next. But you know it's for the best, and you let it happen. Oddly enough, I found moments of the first game more upsetting going through a second playthrough when you already have all the answers. The sadness is inevitable, but by the end, there's a swirl of happiness mixed in, a bittersweet full stop to test your breaking point. That was my main takeaway from the To the Moon series. These games show you that even ordinary lives can be a beautiful collection of interactions that are irreplaceable in what makes you the person you are. Those single days that direct the future pages in your book, how the people that come into our lives sync with our own dance of life. It reminds you as the player that the gift of life is meant to be lived. I rate the series a platypus out of 10. Bye! Oh yeah, and to answer if I actually did cry, the evidence is right here.